this video, Avocademy mentor Isaiah is going to walk you through 5 Figma shortcuts to accelerate your workflow. Before we jump into the tutorial, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions and want to talk to an Avocademy mentor, click the link in the description. Let's get into it.
Hi and welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be exploring Figma shortcuts and how they can make designing in Figma faster and easier. Right, before I start talking about the shortcuts I have in mind, I just want to show you something real quick. If you come to this right bottom part of your page called Help and Resources, this question mark button, if you click on it and you come like explore this, you see keyboard shortcuts. Now, if you click on keyboard shortcuts, it brings up this model that shows all the shortcuts, basically almost all the shortcuts in Figma. Right, so if one time while you're designing you forget a shortcut and you want to use them, you can just basically come here and check, just kind of like to remember. Right, I'm not going to be explaining all the shortcuts here, just going to be talk about ones that are very important, and then you can always come here and check anytime you forget. Okay, so basically let me talk about shortcuts. The first one I want to talk about is the frames. Right, basically for frames, all you need to do is click on F. Right, when you click on F, you can draw a frame. Right, so it's very fast, especially when you're in a design sprint. Basically, right, you just want to click on F and then just keep going. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is rectangles. Similar like F, draw rectangles. That will be R. You just want to click on R and then you can draw a rectangle. Right, very fast. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is lines. Right, just like the name, like frames and rectangles. Line L, just click on L and you can draw a line. Right, if you don't make your line very straight, you can see this one isn't straight. Right, all you just need to do after clicking on L is to hold down Shift and then you draw, and then you have a line. Okay, so basically the next one is ellipse. Right, ellipse are like circles kind of. Right, so then you want to draw a circle. Unfortunately, it's not like started with C. Right, so it started with C, but then you're not clicking on C. Instead you're clicking on O to draw. It's still similar. A circle, it's kind of like O. So you want to draw O, you want to click on O basically, right, to draw a circle, and then or an ellipse as the case may be. Right, then if you want to draw a circle, like a perfect circle, you just hold down Shift. After clicking on O, you hold down Shift and then you could draw like a very perfect circle, basically draw a circle. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is the text tool. The text tool, just like the name text, just click on T and then you have the text tool. The second option is to come here, click on T, and then you have a text tool. Either way works, but that's the shortcut. The next one is the ant tool. Right, the ant tool is very important when you're working on a large file, basically. Right, so this is the ant tool here. You just click on it and use it to move around, but instead you can just click on H and you can just quickly use it to move around. The one that's similar to the ant tool is the pan tool. So basically what a pan does is, the pan is very similar to the ant tool. All you just need to do is like the ant tool in a temporary version. Right, so when you want to use the pan tool, it's like you just want to use the ant tool temporarily and go back to what you were doing before. So you do that by holding down space bar and then you can move around. Right, the moment you lift your hand from the space bar, it goes back to the previous tool that was selected, okay, which in this case was the move tool. Now talking about the move tool, so I'm going to talk about the move tool and the scale tool. They are the two you can find here, the move tool and the scale tool. Now what's the difference between them and why I did that? So the move tool, you use it to move around the edges of elements basically, right? And then the scale tool, to get a move tool, you just need to click on V. To get a scale tool, you need to click on K. Right, so I just clicked on K to get a scale tool, and you can see what the scale tool is doing. Basically, like the name says, scale is scaling the design elements. But if I go back to V, which is a move tool, I'm just stretching the edges. Right, basically just moving the edges. So that's just the difference. Okay, so the last one I want to talk about is C. When you click on C, it triggers comments. Right, when you want to comment on the design, just click on C and then you could power up comments and then you can type what you want to type. Okay, so I'm going to click on V to go back to the move tool. So moving on, I want to talk about zoom. Zoom is very easy. To zoom in, to zoom out, all you just need to do is the minus and the plus. Minus to zoom out, plus to zoom in. All right, so basically, but then there's a more custom command functions for zoom. So you say you want to zoom to 100%. At this point is currently 200%. All you just need to do is press command 0 and you zoom to 100%. Okay, another one you want to do probably is to zoom to fit. Now what does zoom to fit mean? Zoom to fit means that, for example, you have all your elements scattered at different places, right? And then you want and then you're here, right? And then you want to see everything at the same time, right? All you need to do is just hold on shift and click one and press one basically, right? And you see all the design elements are now on the screen visible. The next one you probably want to do, which is very handy, is let's say you're seeing all your designs like this and you want to work on this particular element. You can just select that element from afar and then you press shift 2 and it zooms into the particular element. Quite very important zoom shortcut. Okay, so the next one is next frame. Now next frame is very important when you're designing, right? And then you don't want to, maybe you can't like be too distracted. So I just duplicated this frame. We'll talk about duplicates very soon. And I'm gonna, try to like put a color here. All right, just try to differentiate from frame 1 and frame 2. So let's say I'm on frame 1 like this, and I'm maybe designing on frame 1. I'm trying to do 1 or 2 things here, right? And I want to move to frame 2, right, from frame 1. All I just need to do is press N, and I'm in frame 2. Right, so if I press N back, I'll go back to frame 1, I'll go back to the next frame. Basically, that's a faster way to move across frames. The next one I'll talk about is duplicates, right? Which I just did here. Duplicate is very interesting, very sweet, very important for you, basically, right? Because when you're working on frames, sometimes your designs are like similar designs. Just want to copy that page and then change some things so that it's not exactly the same, or just based on you're working on a very large design style, right? So when you want to duplicate, there are different ways to duplicate. The most popular way, across other platforms or other tools or other like design softwares like Control C, Control V, copy and paste, right? It is here. All right, so but in Figma there's a specific one called Command D or Control D, right? If you just click on Command D or Control D, it's going to duplicate. And the interesting thing about this is that it just keep duplicating with equal spacing in between all of them, right? You can see. So I'm just going to like undo them. There's also another way I duplicate very fast, right? And that is by holding down Option or Alternate. Basically, when you hold down Option or Alternate, you can see the cursor trying to like double up, right? So it's saying that I'm about to become 2. So if you hold down Alternate or Option and then you drag out the frame, you can take a copy of that frame out, right? It's very cool, very important. Also, you can try that. Option or Alternate and then you drag out from the frame. So the next one I want to talk about is the copy properties. This is very important, a very cool feature. When I found out and when it was launched by Figma, it was very interesting. So permit me, I'm gonna like be showing you exactly how this works. So say I have like this is like I don't know, trying to be like a button, not exactly a button. I'm gonna put 8 pixels here. I was trying to make it like a button. Let's make it quite a bit interesting, right? And then I just try to click on T, put in text and say button, right? Make it a bit bold. No, it's a bit bold. Put it up, put it in the middle, right? Yep. Okay, so and then I have a new frame. I want to draw a new button, and all I just do is click on frame and I just drew the frame like this. Now I want to copy those button properties to this new frame. Can we give it a color so that it's not dark here? So I want to copy the properties of this new frame. You can see how this is so different from this. But then I'm just going to click on the shortcut is basically Option Command C. Command C or Control C is copy, and then Control V or Command V is paste. But in this case, it's going to be Option or like Alternate. If it's Windows, it's going to be Alternate Command C. But for Mac, it's going to be Option Command C. So by clicking Option Command C in my case, I'm going to copy the element, and then if I select this one and press Option Command V, I'm going to be pasting exactly. You can see now that I've copied the element of this one and I pasted it exactly. That basically, so this is very important tool that you want to use. Option Command C to copy and Option Command V to paste, or you can say Alternate Control C and Alternate Control V. That's for Windows basically, right? So moving on to the next one, I'm going to talk about auto layout shortcut. Auto layout shortcut is very important, very simple. Auto layout is what you have here. You can see it here, auto layout, right? If you don't want to do this, all you just need to do is press Shift A. Once you press Shift A, it's gonna have an auto layout. You can see it change here. So if you reverse this, you can see it is still like a frame. When I press Shift A, it's already auto layout. Very important. So the next shortcut I want to talk about is create components. So you want to create component very quick. All you just need to do is press the option command K or alternate control K, right? So alternate control K or option command K, yep, you click on it and you can see you have a component, right? So the next one I want to talk about is the shortcut for showing layout grids and removing layout grids. Very important. So let's say I click on F like a frame. I draw a frame here now, for example, and then we have like, let's say this is a web page, and then I put like layout grid. We'll come here, select columns, try to make it like 12, put some margin of 32, and then you're designing here, for example. Sometimes you just want to remove this quickly so that you can see your design clearly, and then you just want to turn it on quickly so that you can see whether your contents are aligning, basically. All right, so the easiest way to do this is just to click Shift G. Very effective. Shift G is going to take it off. If you click on Shift G back, it's going to bring it back, basically. Right, so this is very helpful while you're designing. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to stop, and that's all the shortcuts I'm going to be talking about. I really hope that the shortcuts are going to help you design in Figma faster and easier. Please let me know in the comment section which one of the shortcuts you just learned for the first time. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.